Hello all and welcome to my Real Nutrition Challenge. At this point you will all have received your program guide and the wheels will have been set in motion to kickstart your 30-day challenge. Just to introduce myself again, I'm Jane O'Toole. I'm a qualified nutritional advisor with Shaw Academy. I am also studying at present with Precision Nutrition, furthering my nutrition knowledge, and you'll see I use a lot of their infographics and articles as support throughout this challenge. I'm also a passionate CrossFitter and I've acquired my Level 1 and Mobility Cert and also my Agatsu Level 1 Kettlebell qualification. So as you see, I have a love of all things health and fitness related, particularly nutrition and food. I co-own wellness blog kettlebell.ie too, where I share a lot of advice and tips and recipes. I made this slideshow to help elaborate on certain elements of the program guide and hopefully answer some questions you may have had upon reading it. I'm going to be available throughout the challenge via email and on our Facebook group to offer advice and support. So I'll try and keep this as brief and as informative as possible, so bear with me. This challenge aims to give you the tools to develop healthy, sustainable nutrition for life. I call this challenge the Real Nutrition Challenge, as my concept is that this challenge will fit into real life. Real life meaning full-time work, training, family, other commitments. Hopefully you'll walk away from this 30-day challenge having learned how to kickstart a sustainable lifestyle of healthy eating, while also learning the basics of fueling performance. Even better, if you stick to the guidelines, you'll walk away having lost body fat without feeling deprived, along with having developed a healthier relationship with food. There's 10 steps involved to get this going. So we have body fat testing optional, I can do measurements optional, weight optional as well. There's going to be a daily accountability questionnaire which you'll submit to me every night. You need to be honest as you can with this because that's what's going to drive the course on. There will be a Facebook group too for those who wish to join, so we can all stay in touch, ask questions, keep each other accountable, recommend recipes, places to eat, etc. I'll also be sending out a lot of support material throughout the challenge, but please feel free at any point to email and ask me any questions or if you want clarification on anything at all. All I ask from you on this challenge is to commit to 10 steps for 30 days. So those 10 steps are: set your dietary guidelines and work to maintain them. Move your body for 30 minutes every day. Mobilize and stretch every day for 5+ minutes. Take your supplements. Work on achieving 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Drink sufficient water. Eat 3 meals a day at least. Optimize your snacks and workout nutrition tailored to your specific goals, as in fat loss, muscle gain, etc. Complete your daily questionnaire and stick with this. Just like with training, you're going to get back what you put in. So, no food is off limits. Woohoo! I'm not putting any food off limit, which might seem surprising for a nutrition challenge, but my goal is not to teach you to cut out any food group or deprive yourself of anything. I will, however, be urging you to make better, more informed choices, to choose fueling your body correctly over quick fixes and false energy. I don't want to see huge progress in inches and fat loss over the 30 days that's not sustainable after the challenge ends. I hope to see progress in your energy levels too and performance, which doesn't come from deprivation. I want you to eat whole, nutrient-dense sources of food in adequate portions to meet your health, performance and body composition goals. The aim is going to be to eat colourful, nutrient-rich vegetables and fruits, muscle-building lean protein and some healthy fats. I will be recommending minimising refined grain-containing foods such as pasta, breads and wraps, along with junk food, calorie-dense beverages, alcohol and most added sugar. This challenge should realistically fit into a busy lifestyle, and it should suit most participants concerned with improving athletic performance as well as increasing muscle while decreasing body fat. I'm going to send you guys on a guide chart with foods colour-coded according to how you should view them, like green for eat mostly these foods and orange for eat sparingly, and then red for never have this food. So what is the right diet? This is a question that gets asked a lot. Is it paleo? Is it intermittent fasting? Is it Atkins, low carb, high carb, low calorie? Like, what's the right way to eat? They all work for a time, and this is mainly because they all bring you into calorie deficit, which will lead to weight loss. But if they're not sustainable and your performance is compromised or you're just plain miserable, then it's not the right diet for you. So good nutrition defined. So if I ask 20 people what good nutrition or healthy eating is to them, we're going to get 20 different answers. The main criteria for good nutrition, it properly controls energy balance. This means energy in versus energy out, calories consumed via food and drinks versus our activity level. It provides nutrient density. This is the ratio of nutrients in a food relative to its calorie content. Pretty much getting more bang for your buck in your food. A food with a high nutrient density would contain a high amount of key nutrients like protein, iron, zinc, etc. per 100 calories of food. It achieves health, body composition and performance goals. It's not just about weight loss or gain, it's about improved health, performance and body composition. Weight loss and aesthetics is a strong motivator, but it should never be achieved in lieu of good health. It's honest and outcome based. You have to be honest with yourself. We can believe we're doing a good job or eating well, but something is not hitting the mark. Limiting factors need to be addressed to achieve the desired outcome. It is sustainable. This speaks for itself. What's the point in losing a load of weight or losing a load of body fat that you're going to put back on again 1 month later? It knocks the heart out of you and it's not healthy. So macronutrients. You hear this term a lot, macros usually. And what are they and what purpose does each of them serve? Do we need all of them and how much of each do we need? So carbohydrates, carbs, are they good? Are they bad? These get a really bad rap sometimes. They don't deserve it. We do need them, but we need to use them correctly. Carbohydrates, often simply referred as carbs, are 4 calories per gram. This macronutrient is typically the body's main energy source. It's used to fuel our muscles and provide energy, and it's also stored in our muscles and liver as glycogen. Higher amounts of carbohydrates are needed with increased muscle mass and increased physical activity. However, excessive carbohydrate consumption will be stored for future use as fat or glycogen. This is where the carbs make you fat theory grew from. Eating the right amount of carbs to fuel your goals and activity can have a positive effect on your body composition and performance. Sources of dietary carbohydrates include vegetables and fruits, and then the more obvious ones like bread, cereals, pastas, grains like rice and corn, legumes like beans and peas, and then simple sugars like you find in cakes, or naturally occurring sugars like lactose in milk and dairy products. Protein. There's a lot of emphasis placed on this in my challenge. Protein is also 4 calories per gram. Protein is the major dietary nutrient necessary for building and maintaining the lean muscle tissue we all work so hard for in the gym. Among other important functions, protein are responsible for regulating hormones and maintaining a healthy immune system. Without getting too much into the biology of it all, proteins are basically integral in all cellular function and activity in our bodies. Protein can also be converted to glucose in the absence of available carbohydrates, which means we can burn it as energy too. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins and our muscles, and of 21 amino acids that exist within our bodies, only 9 of these essential amino acids do we absolutely need to obtain from dietary sources because our body can't produce them. Certain amino acids have been studied for their importance on muscle growth and repair. These are BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids, that have been found to be significantly beneficial for muscle tissue repair and maintenance. Most sources of animal protein and whey supplements have adequate amounts of essential amino acids and branched chain, with no specific benefit to be derived from specific amino acid supplementation for most people. Animal sources of protein include eggs, fish and seafood, meat like beef, lamb, poultry, pork, etc., and dairy sources like yogurt, milk and cheese. Animal sources of protein are considered complete proteins as they contain all the 9 essential amino acids we need. Plant sources of protein are usually incomplete proteins, meaning that they don't contain all the amino acids we need and should be combined in order to meet the profile our bodies require, like beans and rice. These plant proteins include nuts and seeds, legumes, soybean-based products such as tofu and other items derived from soy, peanuts, peas, beans, etc. And it's found in smaller quantities in whole grains like rice, wheat and oats, and some vegetables. The legume soybean and the pseudo-grain quinoa are plant sources of complete proteins. Should be aware that items like nuts contain more fat than protein and therefore are considered more of a fat, which leads me on to fat. Fat is the most concentrated sort of energy of all macronutrients, coming in at a whopping 9 calories per gram. Fat is essential for normal body functions, growth and development, and it's necessary for the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E and K. Dietary fat also helps to keep you satisfied between meals and helps make food taste awesome. There are 3 types of fat included in your diet, balanced roughly in equal amounts: saturated, polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fat. It's very important that you stay away from trans fat, which is a processed form of fat that increases the risk of heart disease and other horrible things. Trans fats are often labelled as hydrogenated vegetable oil. Anytime you see this on an ingredient label, you should avoid it. Dietary sources of fat include butter, lard, other animal fats, egg yolk, cream and cheese, olives, olive oil, nuts, seeds, nut butters, coconut oil, avocados and fatty fish like salmon and mackerel. Now, this little cheat sheet is great for highlighting how some foods cross over. You see that you've got your carbohydrates, but then certain forms of plant-based proteins such as beans are more carbohydrate than protein. And then you see that in proteins we have certain proteins that contain more fat. So this is something to be aware of, and we'll get into more detail with as we go along. Body types. And we'll be basing a lot of the recommendations you're all given based on body types. 3 basic body types. They're endomorph, mesomorph and ectomorph. You can sit between body types, and you can also change your body type through nutrition and training. So we're going to be working on eating for your body type. So what is that? Many people think that body type just describes the way someone looks. In fact, your body type can also provide information about how you respond to food intake and about your hormones and also your nervous system characteristics. Physique characteristics can be linked to different metabolic differences. Once someone establishes their body type, they can adjust nutrient intake to maximize composition and health-related goals. As mentioned, the 3 general categories are ectomorph, mesomorph and endomorph. Very few people fall into one of these 3 categories. People are often a mix. And years of training and good nutrition can change the outward appearance of your body. Like a bodybuilder might be mistaken for a natural mesomorph, when in fact he or she is really an endomorph who's trained and dieted hard, or an ectomorph who's spent years guzzling protein shakes and doing power lifts. An ectomorph who's gained a little more weight around the middle from a sedentary lifestyle and poor nutrition might also assume they are more endomorphic. However, most folks will find that their general tendencies is in one of these 3 groups when considering their general goals. So, endomorphs have a larger bone structure with higher amounts of total body mass and fat mass. Power lifters are often endomorphs. They tend to be naturally less active, where the ectomorphs tend to burn off excess calories with near constant movement. Excess calories in endomorphs do not seem to have that same kind of expenditure. This means that excess calories are more likely to be stored as fat. This profile leads to a greater propensity for energy storage, including both lean mass and fat mass. This can also mean a lower carbohydrate tolerance. Endomorphs typically do better on a high fat and protein intake, with carbohydrate intake being controlled and properly timed, for example after exercise. So that's why we recommend more fat and protein and less carbohydrates for this body type. Mesomorphs. This is going to be what you see a lot in CrossFit with this body type. They have a medium-sized bone structure and an athletic body. If they're active, they usually have a considerable amount of lean mass. Many explosive athletes like CrossFitters, wrestlers, gymnasts fit into this criteria. Mesomorphs typically do best on a mixed diet, consisting of a balance of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. The ectomorph. These are your thin individuals, characterized by a smaller bone structure and thinner limbs. Think of a typical endurance athlete. This group generally does best with more carbohydrates in the diet, along with a moderate protein and lower fat intake. So, calorie control. I'm not going to have you guys counting calories necessarily, or trying to track your food. We're going to use a simple guide for tracking your calories using your hand, as you will have seen in your program guide. Calorie counting can be very tedious and it can be inaccurate, so Precision Nutrition, they recommend counting it using your hand. This is a simple guide for a man. So with every meal you would have 2 palms of protein dense foods, 2 fists of vegetables, 2 cupped handfuls of carb-dense foods, and 2 entire thumbs of fat-dense food. Now the reason this works is your hand is such a good guide. Like for a small petite woman, your hand is going to be a very different size for a very large man, and this is how it works, and this is why it works, and the calories are controlled if you follow this guide. For women, it's 1 palm of protein dense foods with each meal, 1 fist of vegetables, 1 cupped handful of your carb dense food, and a thumb of fat. Now this is the simple basic plate building guide. We will be tweaking and tailoring this slightly as per your goals. So how is your plate going to look? An anytime meal. This is all of your general meals. This is how 80% of you are going to be eating on this challenge. This is the meal that you have furthest away from your workouts. So your plate is going to be your protein, fats and veggies. Your carbohydrates on an anytime meal, and most of your meals are going to come entirely from colourful, nutrient dense vegetables. You're not going to have starchy carbs unless you're working out. So this is how your plate is going to be built, and if you stick with this guide, you'll be perfect. Post-workout meal. This is going to be the meal closest to your workout. This says post, it can be pre, but your meals around your workout, you can include your starches, and this can be like your sweet potato, rice or bread, anything like that. You will only have when your body's going to use them for the purpose intended, which is close to a workout, and you will process them better. You'll have lots of protein again, and you'll have veggies and some fruit. You want to eat your largest meal of the day after exercise and eat more vegetables than fruit with this meal, and choose mostly whole foods with minimal processing. For someone on a plant-based diet, you're going to have a slightly different looking plate. You're going to have your veggies and your fruit for after exercise as dessert. You're going to have proteins, and this includes your beans and legumes, your starches and your fats. So your plate has as many more different portions. You need to include a lot more variety in your plate, but again, we can discuss this more throughout for anyone who has got a plant-based diet and needs to follow this. Supplements and vitamins. I do recommend on this challenge that if you don't already take a supplement, that you may introduce 1 or 2, even if it's a multivitamin, just to see the benefits of it. I'm going to recommend what I use. If you are worried about any deficiencies, I would say go to your doctor, get properly screened and checked out for it before moving on. But if you just want to try a general wellness vitamin, these are the ones that I recommend, and you can give them a try. So fish oils, omega-3. Fish oils help to reduce inflammation and have been shown to help with so many physical and mental conditions. Fish oils contain essential fatty acids, or EHA. These are essential as our body can't produce them itself. Omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DPA, are thought to provide a wide range of health benefits, including a lower risk of coronary heart disease and improvements in cholesterol. There have also been promising results from studies looking at omega-3 for cancer, depression, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's also thought that there are body composition and recovery benefits to supplementing with omega-3, which we like. Anything that helps body composition and recovery, can't go wrong with. Vitamin D, sunshine vitamin, which we are seriously lacking in here in Ireland. Adequate vitamin D is important for the regulation of calcium and phosphorus absorption, maintenance of healthy bones and teeth. There's also a lot of research that vitamin D can aid fat loss and performance. Our best source of vitamin D is the sun, and as I said, living in Ireland, highly likely we might get deficient in this, and we don't get adequate sunshine. So I believe that supplementation is a good idea. I do it myself. I believe that it lifts my mood and makes me feel brighter and more alert. Zinc and magnesium. ZMA is another one that I take. ZMA is a natural mineral supplement made up of zinc, magnesium aspartate and vitamin B6. Zinc supports our immune system and muscles. Magnesium plays a role in metabolism and muscle health and helps manage sleep, which is hugely important in recovery. B6 also can boost energy. ZMA makers claim that increasing these 3 nutrients in your system can help build muscle strength and stamina, speed muscle recovery, and improve the quality of your sleep. If you do start taking this supplement and you haven't taken it before, do be aware that you can get slightly lucid dreams. This happened to me when I first took it, and I've heard it happens to quite a lot of people. It just means your dreams can get really vivid. It does calm down. So you do start taking it and that does happen, don't worry about it. You're not going mad. The dreams will settle. Workout supplements and snacks. This is a big one for everyone. Like, I think we all, when we get really into training, want to take and do everything we can to improve, and can sometimes start like supplementing with certain ergogenic aids and shakes and this, that and the other, expecting that's going to make a big difference. Well, basically, if you eat properly, you're going to feel performance. Supplements are going to be should be secondary to good nutrition. So what should we use? Should we use whey, creatine, BCAAs, pre-workout? Which is the best one? What should we use? So I'm going to talk about each of them, the main ones that people go for, and then we can discuss later on an individual basis which ones you should be using or could be using. So BCAAs, amino acids, are the building blocks of protein. There are 3 BCAAs: leucine, isoleucine and valine. They play an important role in the synthesis of proteins, keeping your blood sugar levels constant, regulation of muscle protein synthesis. Adequate consumption can help manage body fat, spare muscle mass, and regulate. Whey protein and protein powders. These powders can be extracted from all sorts of different foods, including dairy, like whey and casein, egg, soy, hemp, pea, even beef. Dairy proteins as well as egg protein are considered complete since they have all the essential amino acids in sufficient amounts. A few plant proteins like hemp are also complete but have a lower total amount of protein. If muscle building is your primary goal, try drinking a fast digesting protein drink with at least 25 grams of protein within 15 minutes of exercising. Creatine. This is one that's people are really misinformed on and can be really misjudged. I think it can be very beneficial. It's an amino acid derivative. It's produced naturally in the body by the kidneys, liver and pancreas. And it can also be obtained from food, particularly red meat, and then supplementation. If you decide to use a creatine supplement, use the monohydrate form. For guys, it's usually 3 to 5 grams of creatine per day. Girls, I'd recommend half of that, because it's a little bit heavy dose, is probably a little bit too much. You can also take your creatine before and or after workout sessions with your workout nutrition. They do say take a break from it every 12 to 16 weeks. Creatine use can improve performance in high intensity events like CrossFit, weight training, sprints. Longer duration aerobic workouts don't really benefit as much from it. Some people say they see a little bit of a bloat when using creatine. Typically this means they're using a very high dose, and this is an all over bloat, not a tummy bloat, and it's purely water in your muscles. It does go down if you stop taking creatine. So snacks. Snacks. This can be, I think, a dodgy one for everyone. It's optimize your snacks and beware of healthy snack overindulgence. So just because something's paleo, gluten-free, or branded like a healthy treat, does not mean that you can go mad on it. And this is something that a lot of people, myself included, do, particularly peanut butter, as I have used on this slide here. You know, these things are good, and yes, they are more natural, but they still have calories, and we still should be aware of this when we're eating them. So it's snack smart, and try not overindulge on any of these snacks, be they healthy, paleo, gluten-free, or whatever. So hydration. This is a very, very important element of this challenge. It's non-caffeinated herbal teas and infusions can count as water. I realise like food like vegetables and fruit do have a water content, and coffee and other liquids, but just for this challenge I'm going to say just count the water you consume. So we're looking for at least 20 mils per kg body weight. This is like a 100 kg man would have 2 litres of water a day based on this scale. Sleep, another very, very important element. I think the one we all probably struggle with the most. I'm going to say to do your best to try and switch off and get 7 to 9 hours sleep a night. This means not going near your phone for an hour before, doing a bit of Ramwad yoga, doing something that relaxes you before going to bed, drinking herbal teas, anything like that, that whatever helps you relax and switch off, breathing exercises. It's really important for your recovery that you do get enough sleep. Like lack of sleep can affect your judgment, your mood, your ability to learn and retain information. Like that's just the mental aspects, but it does also affect like long-term sleep deprivation leads to health problems including obesity, diabetes and cardiovascular issues. And as well as that, you can't perform at your optimum in the gym if you're not rested. Stretching, mobility. I have suggested that you do at least 5 minutes of stretching a day. This can be stuff that your coach has advised you to do for your own particular mobility issues, but I myself go and do Ramwad. It's a CrossFit based yoga that you can sign up for online. I think it's about €10 a month. You can follow the program and you can do little flow sequences between 20 minutes and 45 minutes and pick and choose which ones you want to do and which areas of your body you want to like access. I'll send you links to all of this though. Finally, stay involved. Please give yourself these 30 days. You owe it to yourself to do the best you can for these 30 days. Stay with it. If you fall off track, just forget about it, mark it down and move on, move forward. It's one mistake and over 30 days it's going to happen. We're human. Join the conversation in the Facebook group. It needs to be fun. We can motivate each other, ask questions. Any question that comes into your head, most likely somebody else is thinking it too. So never think any questions shouldn't be asked or you're being silly or anything like that. Put it out there. Ask the questions. Share recipes. Share tips. If you're finding it hard, that's okay too. Ask advice. Other people are probably finding the same things hard too. I'll keep posting tips and advice and answer any questions as we go along. And I'm only at the end of an email or at the end of the Facebook group if you have any questions. This slideshow is just to offer some basic clarity on the program. Hopefully it's clarified some of the program guide I sent. If not, as I said, just ask. I'm here throughout. And enjoy it all. I'm looking forward to meeting you all in person. And let's enjoy the next 30 days.